so many people don't know how to date.
It's true.
Nowadays. Because
So true.
culture is teaching stupid lessons
It's so true.
on dating.
Yeah.
Like we have the hookup culture.
Mm-hmm.
We have like guys that are just so passive. We have guys that are overly aggressive that are just like, what a woman wants is for a guy to come in and just dominate. You know, so most guys don't know how to date. Most girls don't know how to date.
It's true.
So there's tons of confusion. That's why I love this conversation.
Right. But you feel like you're supposed to know. Like you're like, somehow my parents got married and their parents got married and everyone
Yeah.
somehow eventually came
Yeah.
together. So it should be innate. But that wasn't my experience. I didn't feel that way.
No, and unless you really get taught how to do it,
It's messy.
God, you're just kind of an idiot.
You're just like, I hope I'm doing this right.
Yeah.
With my own heart and somebody else's heart. That's some valuable items to be messing around with.
Yeah. And music, like, again, culture's just done such a horrible job of talking about how to pursue a woman or a man, what it looks like to be in a relationship, what a healthy relationship is. So anyways,
let's jump into it.
let's do it.
Okay. I feel like first things first, probably a lot of people with that kind of same idea of, well, I should just know how to date, yet I haven't been taught how to date. Maybe you could give some insight into how you know you're ready to date in the first place.
Yeah. I love to ask people, like, where did you learn how to date? Who taught you?
Yeah.
Was it Uncle Rico? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
He's just wearing that baller chain and he's got this crazy story about he's still living his past. You know, that's like, and I think a lot of people were taught how to date. Again, like we said, culture, their parents. But mostly it's like friends, right? A lot of people learned in high school or in junior high. And so they weren't really taught well.
Yeah.
But how you know you're ready to date? Okay, to me, this is all about, are you ready to leave someone better off than when you started?
It's really good.
Yeah. And you have to answer that question because most people get into a relationship and they're worried about it not working out. But if you think about it, dating, you don't date so that you can have a relationship that lasts forever. Most relationships aren't supposed to last forever. Dating relationships, you're only going to find one that lasts forever. So you have to be able to go into these relationships and navigate them and find out, is this someone I really want to be with? And am I someone that she really wants to be with or that he really wants to be with?
Yeah.
And if you can't leave people off better than where they started, regardless of what happens, the chances that you really find the person that you want to be with is super slim.
Yeah.
Because you get wounded in all these different relationships. And every time it ends in so much pain that you don't want to do it again.
Right.
So if you learn how to have healthy relationships, how to restrain your drive and your emotions and just to do whatever you want to do, then you end up with these really healthy, right? Helpful relationships. They don't end in disaster, but maybe they end. It's not that there's no pain when they end, but it's not disastrous and overwhelming.
Right.
Then you can do this a couple times and have some really great relationships and be able to go like, oh, I'm learning each time.
Totally.
And I'm able to leave them better off.
Right. Yeah. And two, I think often we see people end up in relationships where they feel like they're getting that need met in the first place. I don't know if this is your quote, but I've heard Elijah say it.
It's probably mine.
Yeah. Where he said, I had to get really good at dating myself.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is so key before you can step into any sort of dating relationship. How are you in yourself and you doing in your own dating yourself relationship and journey?
Yeah.
Do you love yourself?
Yeah.
You have your own internal world you're needing to deal with so that you can leave somebody better off than you found them, right?
It's so true. And that's really the journey, right? So that would be the next question. Like, are you ready to leave somebody else? But do you know you?
Right.
And it's always like this tension, right? Because does anyone really fully know themselves all the way?
We're always growing.
Yeah, like I'm always learning. But that also can be a cop-out, right? Like you could have all this baggage and you could feel out of control and then be like, well, no one really knows themselves.
Right.
So what's it really matter?
Right.
But the truth is you have to have confidence. So that's the key to me. right? Is like, I have confidence that I can communicate well, that I know how to ask for help, that I can manage my emotions, right? My emotions don't manage me.
Right.
That I can set a boundary, that I can identify the needs in my life,
Right.
my triggers in my life.
Yeah.
And so dating yourself, when you think about dating yourself, it'll help regardless of if you're in a relationship, it will help you understand you and navigate your life so much better. Because now I understand my strengths, my weaknesses, my cycles, my triggers,
Right.
my goals for life, my setbacks, my story,
Right.
where I came from, where I'm going.
Right.
Like, imagine if every guy was able to go, this is it. This is me
Yeah.
in a nutshell. Like it, don't like it. Like, this is me.
Right. Game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah. Becoming super self-aware even is kind of what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Being able to determine, oh, what are the areas that I do have growth
Yeah.
that I can share with somebody?
Because people ask all the time, like, they say, do I have to have everything together in order to be in a relationship?
Right. Truthfully, that's what I thought. I thought I absolutely have to be the most perfect person on the face of the planet for anyone to ever love me.
Yeah.
Which is just like, that's impossible.
So impossible.
It's so impossible. Yeah.
No, what you want to be is you want to be aware of the things that you don't do well.
Yep.
The things that trip you up, the things that make you act out, the thing, make you want to act out, the things that you want to be aware of how you function so that, because you're probably not going to get rid of all the things, all your triggers, all of your, flaws, you're not.
No.
So it's going to be this process, right? Of being like, oh, this morning I feel super insecure, but I know it.
Yep.
But I know I feel insecure. And oh man, I just get so triggered when another guy comes around. Like, I probably should know that.
Yeah. Totally.
Because if you don't, then that's where we make mistakes.
Totally. And I feel like even just thinking back to my past and even with friends is really being able to practice those things even within friendships. Like friendships, obviously this is men we're talking to, like friendships with your guys, friendship with your girls, where you're able to just communicate these things clearly. Like you're saying, knowing your boundaries and knowing how to communicate how you're feeling. Like those are such keys that you can practice in other relationships than, oh, I'm practicing in dating. You don't have to practice everything in dating to get good at dating.
No, honestly, it's probably the worst place to practice most things.
Totally. It feels high stakes.
Yeah, it's kind of like practicing dribbling when you're in the championship game.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to practice my basketball skills in this championship game. Like, no, you're going to practice being a leader.
Yeah.
You're going to practice playing hard games.
Yeah.
When you're in a hard game, but all of I'm able to communicate my needs. I'm able to communicate a boundary. I'm able to manage my emotions. I am aware of, again, my life story, the highs, the lows, the things that drive me, my confidence, I need to be bringing to a relationship. Like I need to be able to show up to a relationship and be able to present. Yeah. Like, this is kind of who I am. Right. Because it's already such a steep learning curve.
Totally. Huge.
You get into a relationship and you're just like, a little bit nervous, a little bit afraid, a little bit flooded with emotions, endorphins, and it's hard to think. Yeah. It's hard to do life. Right. You're like, oh my gosh, I've never met a human being in my whole entire life like you.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just because we just started dating. No. Like you are,
and you have no faults.
Yeah,
you're not a single one.
God's gift to creation. I found it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have a really good grip on your life, man, it's only a short matter. Like you only get that short, like honeymoon dating period before it ends in disaster.